In today's episode, Stop Being Too Kind, the Buddhist story that will change how you see kindness, we'll explore ways to bring more clarity, calm, and mindfulness into your day. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of the inspiring stories and wisdom we'll share next. Have you ever been told to just be kind no matter what? It's something we all hear growing up, that kindness is the highest virtue, that being gentle and compassionate makes the world better. And yes, kindness is powerful. It can heal wounds, mend relationships, and bring peace where there was once conflict. But here's a question we rarely ask. What happens when kindness goes too far? When our good intentions are misunderstood, misused, or even exploited? In real life, kindness without strength can sometimes lead to chaos rather than peace. People might stop respecting you. They might even take advantage of you simply because they know you won't fight back. This is not just a modern problem. Even thousands of years ago, people struggled with this same dilemma. One day, a great king approached the Buddha, deeply troubled. "Ever since I embraced your teachings," he said, "I've become softer, more compassionate. But now my people are no longer afraid of breaking the law. Crime is rising, order is slipping away, and my kingdom is suffering." This question touches a deep truth about life. Can we be kind without becoming weak? Can we hold compassion in our hearts while still standing firm and strong? Now imagine for a moment that you're a powerful king. Your word is law. Your decisions shape the lives of thousands, and the safety of your kingdom rests in your hands. For years, you ruled with an iron fist, strict, feared, and unchallenged. But then, something within you changed. After embracing the Buddhist teachings of compassion and nonviolence, your heart softened. Anger no longer controlled you. The desire for harsh punishment faded. You began to see your people with new eyes, not as subjects to be ruled, but as human beings worthy of kindness and understanding. At first, this transformation felt noble, but soon reality hit hard. People started noticing the change, and not in the way you hoped. Criminals who once trembled before your justice now walked boldly in the streets. Thieves grew fearless, lawbreakers mocked your mercy, and those who once respected you began to see your kindness as weakness. The crime rate soared. People no longer felt safe in their homes. Even your loyal advisors whispered that order was slipping away. And so, burdened by doubt, the king turned to the Buddha with a heavy heart. "Master," he said, "I followed your words. I let go of my cruelty and anger, but now everything is falling apart. My people are exploiting my compassion. My kingdom is descending into chaos. What am I supposed to do?" This is the moment many of us can relate to. When doing the right thing seems to backfire. When kindness feels like it's costing us more than it's giving. And this question, how to stay compassionate without losing control, is what the Buddha would now answer, not through lectures, but through a simple yet powerful story. To answer the king's question, the Buddha didn't give a lecture. Instead, he shared a story that holds a lesson many of us still need today. Once, at the edge of a quiet village, there was a deadly snake that lived under a large tree. People feared even passing by that tree, because this snake attacked anyone who came near. Its venom had taken many lives, and its presence cast a shadow of terror over the entire village. One day, a traveling monk stopped by, looking for a peaceful spot to rest and meditate. He chose the shade beneath that very tree. Villagers rushed to warn him, "Stay away, that snake is dangerous." But the monk simply smiled and sat down, closing his eyes in meditation. Moments later, the snake slithered out, furious and hissing. "Aren't you afraid of me?" it spat. "This is my territory. How dare you come here?" The monk opened his eyes and looked at the creature with deep calm. "No," he said softly, "I fear nothing, not even death. But it seems that you fear death, and that fear is why you bite." The snake was stunned. It had only ever known humans who screamed, ran, or tried to kill it. Never had anyone spoken without fear. Slowly, the snake confessed. "You are right. I attack because I think people will harm me first." The monk nodded gently. "My friend, life will end one day. For you, for me, for everyone. But harming others out of fear is not the way. Let go of that fear. Replace it with love for all living beings." The snake took the monk's words to heart. From that day on, it chose a new path, one without anger, without hatred, without biting. For a while, the snake truly tried to live by the monk's wisdom. It stopped biting. It let go of anger. It no longer attacked anyone, even those who came close. But what happened next is a lesson most of us eventually learned the hard way. The villagers, once terrified of the deadly serpent, began to notice the change. At first, they approached cautiously. Then, realizing the snake no longer struck back, they grew bolder and crueler. Children threw stones at it for fun. Travelers poked it with sticks as they passed by. Some even dragged it from its hole and beat it for sport. The once feared snake, now too gentle to defend itself, became weak and wounded. Its body was scarred, its spirit broken. Every day was a struggle to survive, not because it was dangerous, but because it was no longer feared.
Months later, the monk returned to that village. When he saw the pitiful creature barely moving under the tree, his heart sank. "My friend," he asked gently, "who has done this to you?" With a trembling voice, the snake replied, "I followed your advice. I stopped biting. I stopped harming others. But now, people torment me. They hurt me, and I have no peace." The monk sighed softly and said, You misunderstood my words. I told you not to bite, yes, but I never said you should stop hissing. You must never harm without reason, but you also must not allow others to harm you. Show your strength. Remind them who you are." This moment carries a truth for all of us. Kindness doesn't mean silence. Compassion doesn't mean letting others walk over you. Even the gentlest heart must sometimes hiss to protect itself. When Buddha finished the story of the snake, he looked at the king and smiled gently. "Do you see now?" he asked. "The snake misunderstood the monk's teachings, and so did you." The king leaned forward, listening closely as Buddha continued. "I never told you to give up your strength. I never asked you to abandon your duty. Just as the snake should not bite without reason, you too should not rule with cruelty. But neither should you throw away your authority in the name of kindness." Buddha's words cut straight to the heart of the matter. Kindness does not mean weakness. Compassion doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. A good ruler, he explained, must hold two powers at once: the softness of compassion and the firmness of authority. If you wish to protect your people, you must be strong enough to punish those who break the law. Your subjects should not only love you, they should also respect, and yes, even fear you. Without discipline, kindness will turn into chaos. Without justice, mercy becomes meaningless. He warned the king that if he remained too gentle, crime would continue to rise. Disorder would spread through the land. And even neighboring kingdoms might see this softness as weakness and strike. A tree that bends in every wind will one day break. The king listened in silence, realizing his mistake. The lesson was clear. He must lead with compassion in his heart, but authority in his hands. Only then could his kingdom know both peace and order. And this isn't just a lesson for kings. It's a lesson for all of us. Because in our own lives, ruling ourselves and protecting what matters most also requires that same balance. The story of the snake and the king may be ancient, but its message is more relevant today than ever before. We live in a world that constantly tells us to be kind, be understanding, and be nice. And while those are beautiful ideals, here's the uncomfortable truth. Kindness without strength can become a trap.
Think about it. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no just to avoid disappointing someone? How often have you forgiven someone who hurt you deeply only for them to do it again because they knew you would? That's not kindness anymore. That's self-neglect disguised as virtue. In the workplace, for example, kindness can turn into exploitation. Maybe you're the person everyone turns to for help. You stay late, fix other people's mistakes, take on extra tasks, yet when you need support, silence. Your willingness becomes their excuse not to step up. In relationships, it's even more obvious. One partner keeps forgiving, keeps giving, keeps bending, and over time, the other stops trying. They assume the kindness will always be there, no matter how careless they become. And soon, that kindness is no longer valued, it's taken for granted. Even in society, excessive kindness can backfire. People may see it as weakness, a signal that they can push boundaries without consequences. And once that line is crossed, respect disappears, often followed by abuse or mistreatment. Buddha's wisdom calls us to rise above this. Kindness is not foolishness. Compassion is not submission. True kindness requires courage. The courage to say no, the strength to draw boundaries, and the wisdom to protect your energy and dignity. Like the snake in the story, we must learn the art of hissing. That doesn't mean striking out in anger, it means showing strength when needed, reminding others that while we are compassionate, we are not to be harmed. So the next time you fear that saying no makes you unkind, remember this teaching. You can hold compassion in your heart and still stand firm. You can love deeply and still protect yourself. And when kindness walks hand in hand with strength, it becomes unstoppable. A force that heals without being harmed, that gives without being taken advantage of.